Now, I wanted to share a model of metacognition that I developed myself some years ago for my own students. It was just to help them learn a little bit more about metacognition. It's something I call the Kipling Model of Metacognition. I created it because I was looking for a way to help my students to understand and apply the principles of metacognition in a much more simple and accessible and practical way, because sometimes the terminology was putting them off. And that's when I came across a stanza from a poem by Rudyard Kipling, best known as the author of the Jungle Book and Just So stories. And in The Elephant's Child, one of the Just So stories, Kipling wrote this: "I keep 6 honest serving men, they taught me all I knew. Their names are what and why and when and how and where and who." And of course the poem continues on for some time, but I think it really captures something super important. And that's where learning isn't just about absorbing facts, it's about getting active with our learning. And in this case, asking ourselves the right questions, knowing which questions to prompt ourselves with. And that's the heart of my Kipling model of metacognition. It's building a metacognitive library of effective self-questions that you can ask yourself using Kipling's 6 honest serving men. So let's just go through a quick example of how we can apply the Kipling model to our own learning. So let's just say we're trying to learn some contents from a chapter in a textbook. You can use the 6 questions to help anchor your monitoring and your regulation skills for your thinking while you're reading it. You might ask yourself to begin, what learning strategies am I going to use to learn the contents of this chapter? Why choose that learning strategy over the other learning strategy that I could take? Where should I study to optimize my learning? What's the best environment for that? And when should I change my learning strategy? When should I start studying? How can I improve my use and range of learning strategies? And who can help me if I get stuck? Who can I study best with? And each of those questions represents a kind of metacognitive prompt that you give yourself. And that's, again, enriching that metacognitive library that students can return to whenever they get stuck or whenever they're monitoring themselves in their learning and realize they could be doing a better job. They're not making as much progress as they thought. What are some of the questions they can ask themselves to get ahead with their learning to make sure it sticks? So again, let's get a bit more concrete with the example here. Let's just say that you're reading a history chapter for school. So you can use the Kipling model to ask yourself questions like, what are the 3 causes of this particular event, this historical event? Or why did this matter at the time? When did each of these events happen and how are they connected? You want to make links with your learning. Or how could I summarize this in my own words? And where have I encountered similar causes or consequences in another historical period or context? And then the question is, who were the key figures of the time? What perspectives did they hold? So it's not just reading, right? You're not just reading mindlessly anymore. It's a metacognitive strategy for reading. And it's reading that's activated and supported by that inner teacher within all of us. So I've used the Kipling model with my students for years, and it's been very powerful for them. Many students have improved their learning and comprehension skills as a result, and more of the information sticks in less time. So it turns metacognition into something practical, accessible for everyone. And those of you who might be teaching students in the younger years, I found that this works equally well for elementary age students as it does for older students, even at the university level. So instead of us just saying, monitor and regulate your own learning, just telling our students to get on with it, you can ask your students to listen to the voices of Kipling's 6 honest serving men to help them make sure their inner teacher is alive and kicking, and making sure that they keep building their inner metacognitive library with key questions to support their own learning, to help anchor their reflections and prompt their learning along when they get stuck.